Good afternoon. Welcome to the Appropriations Committee. I'm Delegate Maggie McIntosh, Chair. Today we have a voting session. This is March 19th, 2021. And the voting session that we are doing has mainly local bills that have been introduced by local delegations. So we will begin today by hearing House Bill 1141. Delegate Bolter's bill.
Delegate Forbes is doing the bill.
Right, Delegate Forbes. You're on mute, Delegate Forbes.
I know, but I was speechless because I don't have the amendments to read. I wasn't reading them ahead of the meeting. If I can get them emailed to me, I will. If you could put it later in the calendar, I'll do that.
That'll be fine. Let's move to House Bill 1301. Delegate Smith's bill on Baltimore City, Visit Baltimore appropriations calculation. Delegate Bridges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With this bill, House Bill 1301, it really extends the date for the city's appropriation to Visit Baltimore and alters the method in which the appropriation is calculated. Right now, it's done by calculating the room receipts from the year immediately preceding. With this amendment, it calculates the receipts preceding on a three-year rolling average, rather than just the completed fiscal year. And so the amendment is to alter the date in which the three-year rolling average will be used to calculate the annual appropriation from July 1, 2021 to July 1, 2022. I'll move the amendment.
Okay, on the amendment. Any questions on the amendment? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, on the bill as amended, House Bill 1301. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. House Bill 813.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill authorizes St. Mary's County Commissioners to issue up to $30 million in general obligation bonds for the acquisition, construction, improvement, or renovation of public building facilities and public work projects. The date of maturity of the bonds cannot exceed 30 years. The bill will take effect June 1, 2021, and there are no amendments. Move the bill.
Okay, second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? House Bill 862.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. House Bill 862 updates the public laws of the St. Mary's County to increase the debt limits of the county and the St. Mary's County Metropolitan Commission, MedCom. The bill takes effect July 1, 2021. There are amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 requires a certain percentage of the percent limitations of indebtedness for accessible real property in the county to be available for all bonds or other evidences of indebtedness. Move the amendments.
Okay, on the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? On the bill as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Let's move to House Bill 1131.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. House Bill 1131 authorizes the Carroll County Commissioners to issue up to $48.45 million in general obligation bonds for the acquisition, construction, equipment, and renovation of public buildings, facilities, and public work projects. The date of the maturity of the bonds cannot exceed 30 years. The bill takes effect June 1, 2021. There are no amendments. The bill authorizes the Carroll County Commission again to issue up to $48.45 million in GO bonds. Move the bill.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, House Bill 1173, Calvert County delegation.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. House Bill 1173 authorizes the Calvert County Commissioners to issue up to $26.5 million in GO bonds for acquisition, construction improvements, or renovation of public buildings, facilities, and public work projects. The date of the maturity of the bonds cannot exceed 30 years. The bill takes effect June 1, 2021. There is one amendment. Amendment number 1 reduces the amount of general obligation bonds Calvert County Commissioners may issue. Move the amendment.
Okay. All right, on the amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? On the bill as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. We now go to House Bill 1365. Delegate Solomon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a bill from our esteemed colleague, Delegate Corman, that we heard earlier this week. Bill would provide additional support to non-public placement schools to make up for what was discovered in a study in 2020, a disparity of upwards of potentially 40% difference between special education teachers for non-public schools and special education teachers in the public system. As you'll recall from the hearing, these are placements for students who are not able to get services in a public school. So even though they are technically non-public, they serve public school students. There is one amendment. It just clarifies the intent of the bill. Motion to move the amendments.
Second.
Okay. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, on the bill as amended, all those in favor of supporting non-public schools signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have a
Anyone
discussion.
opposed? Anyone opposed to supporting non-public schools?
Oh, no, we love, this is a boost program. We love this program.
Yeah, thank you.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
I have an amendment.
I will tell you, I did not get Inowati on the floor, but I'm going to add up for you. And maybe close to the last day of session, I'm going to add up. I'm going to tell you how much money we have in this budget for non-public schools. It's amazing.
I want to put in an amendment.
What?
In order to increase it, all those folks that are so concerned about our children, when they need to promise that they're going to vote for a bill that gives parents to $19 an hour because they don't need to be working 2 or 3 jobs. They can't help their children. They're going to vote to give everybody health care, and they're going to vote to put in everything needed to clear out food deserts. If they can't agree to do that, don't increase it.
All right. There's a perspective. Okay. Before we get mired in that, let's go to House Bill 1372, the Speaker of the House, Blueprint for Maryland's Future Revisions, Delegate Barnes.
Yeah, and it's called revisions because really probably 80% of the bill is just technical changes, revisions, fixes of typos, but there are a few substantive portions of the bill. The first and probably most noteworthy is our sort of realization that we probably underestimated the importance of technology last year when we did the Kerwin bill. And so we've worked in technology into the foundation formula. The second being probably some tweaks in the concentration of poverty grants to make sure that the 80% schools get in a little faster. But I think that action is being done net revenue neutral. There's a bunch of other stuff. We do have, I think, 12 amendments on the bill that I would like to introduce. And I think Ms. Heiss is with us to kind of go through those amendments.
Yes, I am here. Thank you.
Can you
Good.
walk through the amendments? Is that,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think everyone has a summary of the amendments. So you should have a document that was emailed to you. And so I thought I would just walk through that real quickly, and I can give you the page numbers in the reprints that were also emailed if you want to see the bill language, the amendment language. So the first item is related to Delegate Barnes mentioned needing to update the blueprint for educational technology funding, which is in the bill as introduced. The amendment just specifies that the school system should prioritize providing devices to students over hiring additional IT staff. The second item is sort of a technical item related to the
Madam Chair, let me just ask. Madam Chair, do you want me to move these amendments as we go or just do them at the end?
We'll do them at the end.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. The second is relates to the compensation formula. In current law, there is a hold harmless in place for school systems that participate in the community eligibility provision, the federal program. This extends it one more year to fiscal 26. Delegate Barnes also mentioned the concentration of poverty grants, and the bill is introduced accelerates the grants for the highest concentration of poverty schools, the 80% and above schools. It was done revenue neutral. It actually generated a little savings beginning in fiscal 30. And so what this amendment does is it brings, it gives all of the schools
I gotta put
100%
myself on mute.
beginning in fiscal 2030. And there are some technical changes as well. The fourth, I'm sorry, I forgot to give you page numbers, so I apologize. The third and fourth are on page 8. The fourth is a new report. There was a report that is being delayed in the bill is introduced.
Sheets over the voting. I don't.
A lot of reporting requiring dates are changed in the bill. This there was concern that they didn't want to wait for a report, so we added an interim report to look at neighborhood poverty indicators and also the timetable for incorporating better counts into the compensatory education formula. Number 5 is on page 14 of the reprint, and this relates to the new Accountability and Implementation Board. This amendment would give the AIB, as it's referred to, plenary authority, which essentially means that in the event of a conflict between a decision of the IAB and a decision of one of the entities that it has oversight over, that the AIB would prevail. And there is also a clarification that the comprehensive implementation plan should include intended outcomes in the plan that the AIB has to adopt. Number 6 is on page 17, and that refers to the expert review teams that are going to be established and go into public schools and sort of evaluate schools if they are both the highest performers and low performers for best practices for high performers. And this would direct to go into schools that are still suffering learning loss starting in the 22-23 school year. So not this coming year, but the following year. Number 7 is on page 23. And this is really just a clarification that in addition to the blueprint and college and career readiness standards and all the academic enhancements in the blueprint, that they're not intended to alter the other programs and standards that we have for education, which include fine arts and civics and physical education and other things that contribute to a well-rounded person. Number 8 is on page 32 and 33. This is section 4, which deals with summer school programs. The bill requires school boards to create summer school programs in this summer and next summer. The amendments clarify that that the school system should use the additional state and federal funds that are being provided to provide COVID-19 relief to operate these programs, and they may not charge any public schools in order to participate in the program for their students to participate. It also, the bill allows for teacher incentive pay, and the amendments expand that to include other school employees and would be subject to collective bargaining if applicable, and also changes some reporting dates. Number 9 deals with the tutoring program that was created in response to the COVID-19 learning loss. for the next 2 school years and add some language around the assessment requirement, and also allows the schools or the district to choose the assessment. Number 10 is related to a reporting requirement on the tutoring program. Number 11, which is also on page 34, adds some reporting requirements to the behavioral health and trauma funding that's provided in the state budget. And the last amendment, number 12, is on the last page, 34 onto 35. And this is a new requirement for the Department of Legislative Services to do a study of the impact of meeting the local funding requirements of the blueprint on counties and their capacity to meet those requirements. And that report is due January 1st. That
Madam
is
Chair.
all the amendments.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms.
Any,
Maxwell.
any questions on any of these amendments?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
could we pull one amendment, or could I ask a question on one amendment?
sure.
Amendment number 8. Is that the one that deals with collective bargaining?
Yes.
Could you explain that a little more thoroughly, Rachel?
Sure. So in the bill, there's language that allows, doesn't require, school boards in their summer programs to provide incentive pay to teachers to incentivize them to participate in the program. They're concerned that, teachers have had a hard year and it might be difficult to recruit teachers to participate in the program, and also other staff that are needed to participate in the program or to run the programs. And so the amendment broadens it to other school staff. And then to the extent that collective bargaining would apply to this incentive pay, that those provisions would be followed.
So
I
delegates,
actually, if I may, Delegate, I want to follow up on this. This is with respect to teachers and staff that are already in a bargaining unit. This does not expand
Okay.
or contract. It just says if they're already in a bargaining unit, that bargaining unit can have discussions with the school district about incentive pay.
Thank you for that clarification, Madam Chair. And
Yeah, I
Rachel?
think that's important. It came up actually earlier this morning. Good. Any other questions? All right, Delegate Barnes, you want to move those amendments?
yeah, I will move amendments 1 through 12.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? On the bill as amended. House Bill 1372, Blueprint for Maryland's Future revisions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Grice, McKay, Metzger, Beitzel, Kettleman, Novotny, Manjoni.
Madam Chair, I do have a question at some point before you, not that
Oh,
I'm,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Delegate.
yeah,
Bryce,
just one
or-
question. It has to do with the costs, Rachel. Does the bill or any of these amendments, and my question has to do with the entire 10 years, because that's how we looked at it. And I know there's a lot of money being like back funded. And I know the timing has changed a lot since the bill was originally vetoed, and also because of the pandemic. And I know that's the reason why we did this version. But over the course of 10 years, does the cost go up, down, or is it relatively neutral? I mean, where are we at, throughout the entire 10-year process?
So it's a little, I can't answer that question as specifically as you might want, because there's a give and take between things that aren't being funded in fiscal 22 because of the timing of the bill, and then so there's savings in fiscal 22 from things that aren't being funded. The bill does add about starting in fiscal 25 for the educational technology funding. There is an additional, it's about 30, almost 33 million in fiscal 25. And that grows to about, it's about 90 million for the technology funding when it's fully phased in 27 and moving forward. That
I would
is,
have answered that relatively neutral.
it is offset by savings from fiscal 22.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was just like, I wasn't gonna hold you to any specific numbers. I'll sort of just as a sense of, whether, I mean, I think over 10 years, $90 million is relatively neutral to, I guess, to a certain extent. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we might have some federal money coming in to help pay for that. Who knows? You
Right.
know? All right.
Yep, and that's a good
And
point.
the
Madam Chair.
revenue, there was a revenue write-up too. So there are more revenues in the blueprint fund than when
Yeah.
the briefing was done.
Yeah,
All
there's
right.
technology. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Thank you very much. All right. We're going to move now to House Bill. And thank you, Rachel, for all your work. We know how hard you work on this. House Bill 1341.
This is the annual bonding authority for you. Same as what we've just done every year for Carroll and Calvert and St. Mary's. Move the bill.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. House Bill 1374.
Again, annual prior auth bill. So these are our little projects who, for some reason or another, got caught up, and we want to make sure that they're reauthorized so that our little communities can continue to use these grants. So move the bill.
Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Could I ask a
opposed?
question? Could I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Sure.
This is a prior auth, if there was a prior authorization, I asked you about this before, Delegate Barnes, that the governor didn't put in his budget. Did that get considered?
I think we swept them all in, Delegate. You need to check the bill. I can't account for them all.
Yeah, I can't, all right.
Chairman
Yeah,
Barnes, I think he's referring,
Pardon?
sorry, Madam Chair.
You're referring to the pre-auths that weren't funded in this year's budget, right?
Yeah, they were in last year's budget.
Oh,
but for some
this would
reason
not
we didn't.
include those. Those are going to be done when we meet on the capital budget, hopefully sometime.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, Madam Chair.
So look for your project because we in fact did fund all of those, correct, Delegate Barnes?
That's our, yes.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're very welcome. Delegate Washington's bill 1245.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill would expand the eligibility for the Next Gen Scholars Program to ninth graders. This is a bill that we heard, I believe, last week. There's one amendment that does two things. It clarifies the provision around free and reduced meals for schools that have community eligibility, puts in place a couple of other requirements in order to verify that an individual student would qualify. And it also lowers the mandated appropriation and cuts it in half from 5 million to 2.5. Motion to move the amendments.
Okay. Second. On the amendments. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? On the bill as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Well, we got one opposed.
Look, same folks.
Two opposed.
You have
Three.
Madam Chair.
Three opposed. We gotta keep this going here. 4. See, I slowed down long enough that we picking up steam.
Well, since that's the case,
5. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God.
Hold strong, Delegate McKay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And Delegate
again.
Metzger. Sorry.
You got that? Yeah. All right, this concludes our bill hearing.
Madam Chair, we have to go back to House Bill 1141.
Oh, yeah, we do. I'm sorry. Let's go back to House Bill 1141.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you everyone for your moment of indulgence. HB 1141 is a local bill, and the bill requires the Baltimore County Board of Education to retain the services of an independent air quality inspector to conduct air quality testing whenever the board requires to test. The board must also make those results of the tests available on the website and submit the test results to the Maryland State Department of Education for publication on the department's website. There are 2 amendments. Amendment 1 is technical, and amendment number 2 clarifies that the bill applies for an indoor air quality assessment and alters the type of the inspector. Move the amendments.
Okay. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Delegate
Just have a
Metzger, you
question.
got, oh, you
I
have
just
a
have a-
question?
Yes, ma'am. Just want to ask if you could recall, when we voted this out of delegation, it was unanimous, wasn't it?
I believe that it was, yes.
Yes, that's the vote list we have.
Thank you.
Okay. So is there no one opposed to the amendments? Okay, you're not opposed to the amendments, right?
No, ma'am.
On the bill as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. We're done for the day. We're gonna come in.
Chair, sorry to interrupt, but one more thing. Can we go back to House Bill 1365? We didn't do a vote on the bill as amended. We just moved the amendments.
Oh, really? I just whipped right through that, huh? All right. House Bill 1360. Oh, that's because I was getting cute, you know? That's what happens when I get cute. All right, House Bill 1365. As amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Sorry about that, Delegate Corman. We are going to be meeting 10:30. Michelle, is that right?
Yes.
Before we go on floor, we have a few more bills, and they're bills that are being voted on in other committees that we're secondary on, that we're waiting on. So we may have a voting before and in between sessions tomorrow. So any announcements, Delegate Barnes, you need to announce anything?
The
Anything?
Capitol will be meeting for decisions tomorrow, I think before session. We're voting, you said at 10:30, Madam Chair?
Yes,
So I think we can probably do that at 9:45. Is that okay?
that's fine with me.
Tomorrow, 9:45 for decisions. And if you are on the Capitol Subcommittee, we do have a document to hand around to your offices, so look out for that right now.
Okay. Okay,
Thank
Thank
you all
you,
in
everybody.
advance.
Madam Chair,
thank you, everybody. It's
Madam
been a
Chair?
great week.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
sorry. May I make a request? I know that my staff is off for the weekend with the meeting that's being held tomorrow. Is there any way to have the notices and the connection information sent to our personal emails so that we can access that directly?
yeah.
If you send me your email, I can do that, but you have to send me your email by 5 p.m. today.
Thank
I
you.
have your email, Delegate, but if anyone else wants me, please let me know.
Okay, good. Well, I would say everybody have a good weekend, but I'll see you tomorrow. All right? Have a great night. Bye-bye.